Hi, everybody. My name is Janine Rodriguez. I am based in Florida. I'm a clinical nutritionist. I graduated last year from the University of Bridgeport with a master's degree in human nutrition. And before that, I was a librarian. I have a master's degree in library and information science from UCLA. And I'm here today to discuss fad diets and brain health. Before I start, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on my journey and myself. Um, when I graduated from UCLA with my master's degree in library science, I knew I wanted to work as a librarian, but I also wanted to go back to school. And I wasn't sure what I was going to study. But a few years ago, my dad was very sick and I was not doing well either. And due to the lack of answers, I felt like I needed to do the work myself. I wanted to do the research. I wanted to read and explore and see what the research out there could, how I could improve my health and my dad's health based on the research out there. Turns out, to make a long story short, a friend of mine recommended a book on nutrition, and the book resonated with me. I saw myself changing my diet, my own diet, and having tremendous progress. And I was so happy. I got so encouraged, and I got so happy that I could bring hope to other people that I decided to become a nutritionist myself. And I thought at the time that the information we receive is so confusing that the medical community sometimes doesn't even point to nutrition. And we go to the doctor and we don't get a good answer. We are given medicine, but we don't get better. And the medications mask the symptoms, but in the long run, you don't get better. I figured that if I brought what I know, my experience, and studied nutrition for real, um, that I would be able to help a lot of people. So I'm here now with a virtual clinic, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. This is just a very brief introduction to the bare minimum. I'm just touching the surface. I don't want to bore anybody. This was more just to create awareness about fad diets and brain health, and for me to introduce myself to you, open a line of communication, and hopefully you'll get interested and intrigued, and you're going to call me asking for questions, asking questions, asking for, recommendations, or maybe we can work together. That would be lovely. So let's start talking about fad diets and brain health. Fad diets are usually diets that are created to promote a quick weight loss. I'm not sure if you're aware, but our culture is very diet oriented. It's very centered in weight loss, and we try to find ways to create that weight loss. And what is the promise of a fad diet? Is that it's going to be quick, it's going to be effortless, it's going to be a quick fix, and that you're going to have this body that you always dreamed of overnight. But it doesn't unfortunately happen like that, and we have research to show that. So a fad diet usually eliminates a food group. A food group is a protein, a carb, or a fat. So those are the food groups that we have. So, for example, in the keto diet, you remove carbs, or your carbohydrate intake is very, very low. Usually, in a regular diet, the recommendation is that 55% more or less of your calories come from carbs. And in the keto diet, I believe it's like 5% should come from carbs. So you see the difference is like tremendous. With the keto diet, you have 5%, and with a regular diet, 55%. So you remove that food group, and that makes the person lose weight, a tremendous amount of weight in a very short period of time. The problem is that these diets don't have a lot of credibility. Why? Because there's no science to back them up. The science is very recent. The studies are not long term. For you to see some examples of what fad diets are, we have the Atkins diet, which was popular 20 years ago, the cabbage soup diet, the grapefruit diet. I heard of recently of a cookie diet. Um, and more popular these days, I think everybody's going for keto these days. It's very popular in social media, and a lot of people are very happy losing weight quickly. But the problem is that your brain runs on glucose. I'm sure you heard that before. Um, the main and favorite source of energy for the brain is glucose. The alternative source of energy is keto, like keto acids. So when you are on a keto diet, your body turns to burning fat as a source of energy. But that's not the brain's um, favorite source of energy. So what you're doing is you're forcing your brain to go on ketogenesis, like your brain to like your body to go on ketogenesis, so the brain can have energy. It's not a natural way. It's not really a balanced way of for weight loss or for the brain to work. So research has shown that fat diets promote weight loss, but only temporarily. So you do lose weight, but it's short-lived. And once you start eating the old way, because usually these fat diets are not sustainable in the long term anyway, then you gain the weight back. Compliance can also be an issue because people have a hard time keeping a certain diet if you don't change the way you see food, if the change is not sustainable, if you don't have a real reason to change the way you eat, if you don't change your taste buds, then most likely you're going to go back to the old way of eating and you're going to binge. That's usually what we see in practice. Um, Research also doesn't know exactly why we lose weight when we eliminate a food group. We just know that we do. Like, for example, if you don't eat protein, you're going to lose weight. If you reduce all fats or eliminate all fats, you're going to lose weight. But we don't know exactly how that happens. And if we don't know exactly how that happens, then there's a problem because you don't know what other damage you're causing to your body and your brain. In the case of the ketogenic diet, we do know that the reason why people lose weight is because you're burning fat because you don't have anything else for your body to burn. You're getting protein, you're getting fat, like ingesting fat, but you don't have glucose. So if you don't have glucose in the body, then what is your next source of um, energy? Fat. Then you burn that fat for a while and you go into a plateau. Um, and this slide talks about the risk of eating disorders, and this is very important, especially for people who have kids, teenagers, uh, both boys and girls. Um, when people start restricting and eliminating certain food groups, there's a 20% to 25% higher risk of those individuals to develop an eating disorder. Eating disorders are very, very serious. And with our diet culture, it's very important for parents to be aware of that. When you see your kids, trying to lose weight, exercising too much, eating only certain foods, you don't see them eating. So those are all red flags that can point to an eating disorder or a disordered eating, and it's important to be aware of that. Also, when you are restricting, you are forcing your body to, you're not providing your body with certain nutrients, and the brain, it starts to malfunction. The brain is our computer, right? It's what tells us, do this, do that, move your arm, move your hand, blink. They have a certain mood. Let's produce hair. Let's take care of our skin. So you're cutting nutrients and you're not replacing them with anything. And your levels of B vitamins that are so important for the brain, your levels of essential fatty acids that are so important and the body doesn't produce them, you start eliminating those from your diet and your brain starts feeling that. Takes years sometimes to manifest as a, let's say, depression or some other type of disorder or Alzheimer's, or but in the long run you're gonna start seeing and feeling the results of nutrient depletion, specifically on the brain. Brain foods. What are brain foods? Brain foods are all nutrient dense foods like red berries, blueberries, blackberries, greens, veggies. The more colorful your plate is, more, you know, more brain food you're gonna have, or more a happier brain you're gonna have. You also have nuts that are brain foods, flax seeds, chia seeds, the so-called superfoods. Um, Complex carbs, those are very, very good for your health. Beans, grains. It's always important to know two things, though. The source of your food. Is your food clean? Is your food from a reputable um, source? Is your food free of pesticides? Um, we always have to take into consideration the quality of the food. Um, we also have to take into consideration the environment, right? Because it's not only food, but you might be eating things that are good for you, but if you are in an environment that is contaminated or that you have mold in your house, that might affect your brain as well. Um, So, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate this opportunity. I improvised this talk to make it more dynamic. Let me know if you have any questions. My phone number is 754-367-2765. I work with clients um, personalizing their nutrition. I don't make nutrition plans. I work with the individual to meet them where they're at. And again, it was my pleasure to be here today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I didn't bore you to death. And I hope to see you soon. Take care and be healthy.